I just got back home from coming from the gym and look what is sitting right in front of our neighbor's house.
I actually would have totally missed this one if Parker didn't tell me that he saw something when we were leaving for the gym. And to my surprise, it was the most gorgeous vintage dresser I've ever seen, just sitting for free right on the curb. I told Parker his workout is not over, so he helped me bring it to the garage, and I was so excited to get started on this thing. I removed all the drawers just to get a clean slate. I found this Amazon box that I was a little weary of, but come to find out it actually was just the paint that I guess this previous owner used to try to cover up this old dresser. It seems like they started on the project, got frustrated, and then put it on the curb for me. I'm also saving all the old hardware because I love how unique it is. I did a quick scratch test with my carbide scraper just to find out that this is a really cheap plastic veneer. Since this paint wasn't covering any wood that was worth stripping, we're just going to save the time and scuff sand it instead with a 120 and then go with my plan B. I personally think this dresser would look so good in a very deep, dark, chocolatey wood, but since we don't really have any real wood to stain, we're going to go with a faux wood technique instead. I've done this on a lot of flips in the past, but I don't think I've ever really done it on a full piece. I've always done it on the top or the base, but not the whole body. This dresser is a perfect candidate to try it out because my wood grading tool works really well on flat surfaces, and this really doesn't have a ton of curves on it. My first step was to apply a primer just to make sure we have a really fresh base to paint on top of. Then I put a layer of Spanish Moss chalk paint by Dixie Belle as my base layer for my wood tone. You could pick how light or dark you want this first paint layer to be, whether you want a lighter wood look or a darker wood look in the end. With my first layer of base paint dried, it was time to go in with my wood glaze and my wood graining tool. I tried to match the wood grain based on how this piece was built and how it would look if all this paint was stripped and it actually was solid wood. This personally is one of my favorite techniques. I don't know, I could literally sit here and do this all day. It's so relaxing and so satisfying. Luckily, this wood glaze is very forgiving as well. If you mess up, just use your paintbrush to smooth out the glaze again and retry with your grading tool. It will not make a difference. Even if the glaze is not perfect on this layer, it does not really matter. You could think of this layer as like a crumb coat in baking. After this layer is dried, you actually go in with a second coat of glaze, just painting it on like regular paint, and this is probably going to hide any imperfections that you see in the first layer. The second layer is where the magic happens. Everything starts looking like solid wood and blending perfectly. I actually applied a third layer of glaze on top of this just to give me a darker look. I personally prefer gold hardware over silver hardware, so I just spritzed it with some gold spray paint to bring it into my style. To freshen up the inside of the drawers and bring the wood back to life, I used Dixie Belle's Big Mama's Butter. And then the last step was to attach my old hardware and get this thing staged and ready to shoot. As a quick reminder, here is what it looked like right after we grabbed it from the curb. And for a dresser that's not actually solid wood, I don't think anybody would second guess that it's not. This is the exact shade, tone, and vibe I really wanted to bring this dresser back to. And you can't deny that that faux wood graining technique is not like magic. This dresser looks like it just left the factory yesterday, when in reality it probably is over 20 years old. And besides my drill, I didn't use any power tools for this. If you have a piece around the house that you're just not in love with anymore, before you put it on the curbside, why don't you give this technique a go and see how you like it? You could surprise yourself and end up with a brand new piece of furniture. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.